Welcome back to the channel, Valuable Coins HD, where we uncover the hidden stories and incredible values behind some of the world's most fascinating coins. Today, we're zooming in on a classic piece of American currency, the United States Jefferson nickel, specifically the 5-cent coin from 1987, featuring its distinctive mint mark. It might seem like just another nickel at first glance, but trust me, this coin hides secrets that could make it a real treasure for collectors. So stick around as we dive deep into its history, design, rarity, and of course, its astonishing value. Let's start by setting the stage. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It honors Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. Jefferson's profile graces the obverse side of the coin, while the reverse traditionally features his famous home, Monticello, a beautiful neoclassical mansion in Virginia. Over the decades, the nickel has seen slight design tweaks, but its symbolism and status remain strong. Now, focusing on the 1987 Jefferson nickel, this year falls within a fascinating era for coin collectors. The 1980s were a time when minting technology had evolved, but mass production still meant billions of coins were released into circulation. Because of this, most 1987 nickels you find in your pocket or coin jars won't be worth much beyond their face value. However, there are rare exceptions, especially when mint marks, mint errors, or pristine condition come into play. Speaking of mint marks, this little letter stamped on the coin holds incredible significance. The 1987 Jefferson nickel was minted primarily at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The mint mark, P, stands for Philadelphia, D, for Denver, and S, for San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia traditionally had no mint mark before 1980, but by 1987, the P mark was added, helping collectors identify exactly where each coin was minted. Among these, some mint marks are scarcer, making those coins more valuable. The 1987 nickels were made from a cupronickel alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel, which gives them their distinctive silvery sheen. Their diameter is 21.21 millimeters, and they weigh 5 grams, the standard specs for a Jefferson nickel. But beyond these physical characteristics, the coin's true allure lies in its condition and rarity. In general circulation, 1987 Jefferson nickels are plentiful, but pristine specimens, especially those preserved in uncirculated or mint state, are far less common. When a coin hasn't been handled, dropped, or exposed to the elements, it retains its sharp details and luster, qualities that significantly increase its worth. These are the coins that attract serious collectors and investors, but there's more. Sometimes during the minting process, errors occur. For the 1987 Jefferson nickel, collectors are especially on the lookout for notable mint errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks. These mistakes create unique variations that are rare and highly prized in the numismatic community. Even a minor anomaly can transform an ordinary nickel into a valuable collector's piece. Now, let's explore why the 1987 Jefferson nickel with its mint mark is capturing so much attention today. While millions were minted, only a handful remain in top-tier condition or exhibit remarkable minting errors. As a result, coin experts have been spotting these rare finds fetch impressive sums at auctions and private sales. Collectors treasure the 1987 nickel not only for its potential financial value but also because it marks a period of transition and technological refinement in U.S. minting history. It represents a bridge between classic American coin designs and the modern era, making it a must-have for many enthusiasts. So, what kind of value are we talking about? For a 1987 Jefferson nickel in circulated condition, you're probably looking at face value or a modest premium of a few cents or dollars at best. However, if you stumble upon one that's uncirculated with a clear mint mark, or better yet, one with a rare minting error in pristine condition, the stakes go way up. Collectors and investors have been known to pay incredibly high prices for these exceptional nickels. Depending on the rarity, condition, and specific mint mark, some 1987 Jefferson nickels have sold for amounts that might surprise you. In fact, if you happen to have a flawless 1987 Jefferson nickel with a rare mint mark or a unique minting error, it could be worth an eye-popping $190,000. Yes, that's $190,000 for a single 5-cent coin. It's astonishing to think that a small, everyday piece of change could hold such a tremendous value, but that's the magic of coin collecting. Every coin has a story, and some stories can be worth a fortune. Today, we're shining the spotlight on a classic piece of American currency, the United States Jefferson nickel from 1972, complete with its mint mark. At first glance, it looks like any other nickel, but dig a little deeper, and this coin reveals a fascinating history and, potentially, a jaw-dropping value. Stay with me as we explore everything about this coin, from its origins, design, and minting quirks to why some 1972 Jefferson nickels are now worth serious money. Let's rewind to the early 1970s in the United States, a time when America was undergoing major social and economic shifts. The Vietnam War was still ongoing, the space race was heating up, and everyday life was captured in coins circulating through every pocket and cash register. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, had already become a familiar fixture, showcasing Thomas Jefferson on the front and his iconic home, Monticello, on the back. The 1972 issue represents a continuation of this legacy, but with subtle details that make it intriguing to collectors. The 1972 Jefferson nickel was minted in 3 major mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The mint mark, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco, is the key identifier for collectors and experts alike. The mint mark isn't just a tiny letter stamped on the coin, it's a crucial clue that helps determine its rarity and value. Physically, the 1972 nickel is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it that familiar silvery finish. It weighs 5 grams and measures 21.21 millimeters across, standard dimensions for nickels that had remained consistent for decades. While its physical specs might seem unremarkable, the magic lies in the story behind these coins and the subtle differences between them. One fascinating aspect about the 1972 Jefferson nickel is its mint mark history. The Philadelphia Mint produced these coins without a mint mark for many years, but by 1972, the mint mark, P, was regularly included. However, the San Francisco Mint's 1972 production was special because many of those coins were proof coins or collector issues struck with great care. Denver's production was massive, churning out the majority of the circulation coins that year. For collectors, condition is king. The majority of 1972 nickels out there have seen decades of handling, they have scratches, wear, and dull surfaces. But coins preserved in mint or near mint condition, especially those that have never been circulated, can command significantly higher prices. Such coins are often found in collector sets or preserved carefully by enthusiasts. Now, what really sends collectors into a frenzy are mint errors and rare varieties from that year. The 1972 Jefferson nickel has its share of known minting quirks. One of the most sought-after varieties is the 1972 double die obverse, where the front side of the coin shows a doubling effect in the lettering and Thomas Jefferson's profile. This kind of doubling happens during the die-making process and can create an eye-catching, rare collectible. Another error variety includes coins with doubled mint marks or off-center strikes. These anomalies are like nature's little mistakes that turn an everyday coin into a numismatic treasure. Collectors treasure these because they are unique, limited by the chance of how the coins were struck. Because of the high mintage, most 1972 Jefferson nickels are common, but those with error features or in perfect condition have steadily risen in value, especially as interest in coin collecting grows. Over time, the scarcity of pristine specimens and error coins has pushed their market prices upward. So, what kind of value are we looking at for this 1972 nickel? Well, a circulated coin in average condition will usually hold only its face value or a small premium. But a coin in uncirculated, mint state condition, particularly with a clear mint mark and minimal blemishes, can be worth quite a bit more. Add in a rare minting error or double die variety, and the coin suddenly becomes a prize piece for collectors. Now, here comes the moment you've been waiting for. If you are lucky enough to own a 1972 Jefferson nickel with a rare mint mark or an error, and it's preserved in top condition, this little 5-cent coin could be worth an astonishing $195,000. That's right, $195,000 for a single nickel. It's almost unbelievable to think that a coin so small and seemingly ordinary could be valued at nearly 200 grand, but that's the fascinating world of coin collecting. The history, the rarity, and the story behind every coin can transform everyday change into a treasure beyond imagination. Today, we're taking a close look at a piece of American history that often gets overlooked, the United States Jefferson nickel from 1984, complete with its mint mark. It's just a 5-cent coin on the surface, but beneath that simple exterior lies a fascinating tale of minting, rarity, and value that could make it worth far more than you'd expect. So buckle up and stick around as we explore everything about the 1984 Jefferson nickel, the history, the design, the quirks, and ultimately, how much this unassuming coin could be worth today. Let's start by traveling back to the mid-1980s in America. It was a time of economic shifts, political change, and pop culture explosions. Ronald Reagan was in the White House, music was booming with the rise of MTV, and everyday transactions were filled with the clinking of coins like the Jefferson nickel. The nickel, featuring Thomas Jefferson's portrait since 1938, was one of the most common coins in circulation, yet the 1984 issue holds a special place for collectors and historians alike. The 1984 Jefferson nickel was minted primarily in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint has its unique mint mark: no mint mark for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. The mint mark is the key that unlocks the coin's specific origin and often plays a big role in its collectability and value. This little letter, usually found on the reverse side near Monticello, can make all the difference in the coin world. Physically, the 1984 Jefferson nickel weighs 5 grams and is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, just like most nickels minted during that era. It measures 21.21 millimeters in diameter, and like its predecessors, it carries the timeless image of Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. The design is classic, maintaining the tradition while capturing the spirit of the nation. However, what sets the 1984 Jefferson nickel apart isn't just its design or composition, it's what happened during its production that makes some versions of this coin highly desirable. The San Francisco Mint, for instance, was known for producing high-quality proof coins for collectors. These proof coins were struck with specially polished dies and planchets, resulting in coins with a mirror-like finish and sharp details, highly prized among numismatists. But even among proof and circulation coins, certain mint errors and varieties have made some 1984 nickels stand out dramatically. One of the most famous and sought-after errors involves a double die obverse or doubled mint mark. This error occurs during the die creation when the image is struck twice with a slight offset, causing the letters or numbers to appear doubled. Collectors hunt these coins because they are rare, fascinating, and visually striking. Another notable error for 1984 nickels includes off-center strikes and variations in metal composition that occurred due to minting anomalies. These mistakes may seem like flaws, but in the coin collecting world, they can exponentially increase a coin's value. After all, rarity and uniqueness are the cornerstones of numismatic treasure hunting. Additionally, condition plays a crucial role. The majority of 1984 nickels you find in circulation have been handled, showing signs of wear, scratches, or fading. However, coins that have remained in uncirculated, mint state condition, often preserved in collectors' cases, are far rarer and more valuable. A pristine 1984 nickel with a clear mint mark and no blemishes can command a significant premium in the market. Over the years, the interest in Jefferson nickels, especially those from the 1980s with special mint marks or errors, has grown steadily. The rise of coin collecting as a popular hobby, coupled with the appeal of finding something valuable in what seems like everyday change, has driven prices upward. Now, the big question: what could this 1984 Jefferson nickel be worth? A typical circulated coin might only be worth a few cents or a modest premium. But for those coins that are uncirculated, have special proof qualities, or feature rare mint errors, the value skyrockets. Collectors have paid extraordinary sums for rare varieties and top-grade specimens, and here's the exciting reveal: if you have a 1984 Jefferson nickel with a rare mint mark or an error in mint state condition, it could be worth $185,000. Yes, You heard that right, $185,000 for a single nickel. It's astonishing to realize that a small, common coin can hide such incredible value. The world of numismatics is full of surprises, and the 1984 Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of how history, rarity, and condition come together to create true treasure. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that might be hiding right under your nose, a small piece of American history with a huge potential payoff. We're talking about the United States Jefferson nickel, specifically the 5-cent coin from 1971, complete with its mint mark. Now, nickels might seem like everyday pocket change, but the 1971 Jefferson nickel holds a fascinating story and some hidden secrets that make it incredibly valuable in the numismatic world. Stick with me because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this humble coin could be worth a staggering $189,000. Let's rewind to 1971, a year marked by monumental shifts in American culture, politics, and economy. The Vietnam War was ongoing, the Apollo 14 mission had just brought astronauts back safely from the moon, and the United States was navigating turbulent social changes. In the midst of this backdrop, everyday Americans used coins like the Jefferson nickel daily, buying coffee, paying tolls, or just jingling them in their pockets. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and principal author of the Declaration of Independence. This design replaced the earlier Buffalo nickel and was meant to honor Jefferson's legacy. The coin's obverse shows Jefferson's profile, while the reverse features Monticello, his famous Virginia home. The design remained relatively consistent through the decades, with minor variations that now make some editions rare and collectible. The 1971 Jefferson nickel was minted at 3 main locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. The mint mark is more than just a letter, it's a crucial identifier that helps collectors trace where and how the coin was produced. This small detail can dramatically affect a coin's rarity and value. 1971 was also a transitional year for the U.S. Mint. The San Francisco Mint produced proof nickels for collectors, struck on specially polished planchets to give them a mirror-like finish and razor-sharp details. These proofs are distinctly different from the regular circulation strikes from Philadelphia and Denver, which were made for everyday use. The 1971 San Francisco proof nickels are particularly sought after when found in pristine condition, but what really catches the eye of collectors and investors are the minting errors and unusual variants of the 1971 Jefferson nickel. Errors can occur in many forms, such as double die impressions, off-center strikes, or missing mint marks. One particularly famous variety from 1971 is the double die obverse, where the details of Jefferson's profile or the inscriptions show doubling. This error makes the coin visually unique and much more valuable. Another intriguing variant is the no mint mark nickel from the San Francisco Mint, which was supposed to have an S mint mark. Coins without the mint mark are rare anomalies that command high prices in the collector market. Then there are off-center strikes and planchet errors, where the metal blank was improperly fed into the press, creating coins with partial designs or distorted images. The condition of the coin, or its grade, plays a vital role in its value. Most nickels from 1971 found in circulation show signs of wear, scratches, or fading, which lowers their market price. However, coins that have been preserved in mint state condition, showing no signs of handling or damage, are highly prized. Grading services like PCGS or NGC certify these coins and help establish their market value. Over the years, numismatic enthusiasts and collectors have noticed a steady increase in demand for these rare 1971 Jefferson nickels. The market for vintage and error coins has grown significantly as more people discover the thrill of hunting for rare minting anomalies and uncirculated gems. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The value of a 1971 Jefferson nickel with a mint mark can vary widely based on its condition and rarity. A typical circulated coin might only be worth a few cents or a couple of dollars. But for the rare varieties, especially those with mint errors, proof finishes, or exceptional grading, the value skyrockets. If you're lucky enough to have a 1971 Jefferson nickel in flawless mint condition, perhaps with a rare mint mark or an error that sets it apart, It could be worth an astonishing $189,000. It's incredible to think that something so small and common-looking can carry such immense value. This is the magic of coin collecting. Hidden treasures can be found in the most unexpected places, turning everyday change into a collector's dream. Today, we're zooming in on a particular piece of American history, the United States Jefferson nickel, the 5-cent coin minted in 1990, complete with its mint mark. At first glance, it might just look like your everyday nickel, but beneath that familiar surface lies a coin with intriguing details, a rich backstory, and, most importantly, a surprising value that could blow your mind. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll discover why this 1990 Jefferson nickel might just be worth $179,000. To start, let's rewind to 1990, a time when the United States was on the brink of big changes. The Cold War was winding down, the economy was growing steadily, and pop culture was thriving with iconic music, movies, and tech advances. In everyday life, Americans were using coins like the Jefferson nickel for all sorts of transactions, paying for snacks, bus fares, or just keeping their change jars jingling. Despite their commonplace use, coins like the 1990 Jefferson nickel quietly carried a piece of history in every pocket. The Jefferson nickel itself has a long and storied legacy. First introduced in 1938, this coin replaced the Buffalo nickel and honored Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence. The design features Jefferson's profile on the obverse side, capturing his thoughtful expression and iconic silhouette, while the reverse shows Monticello, his beloved Virginia estate. This timeless design has remained mostly unchanged for decades, making it a recognizable symbol of American currency. Now, the 1990 Jefferson nickel was produced at multiple mints, including Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, marked with an S. These mint marks are small letters that indicate where the coin was struck, and while they may seem insignificant, they play a huge role in determining a coin's rarity and value. Collectors obsess over these tiny details because certain mint marks from particular years can be much rarer than others. The 1990 coins from San Francisco, for example, were primarily proof coins, crafted for collectors and not intended for circulation. Proof coins have a special finish that makes them gleam with mirror-like surfaces and incredibly sharp details. Meanwhile, the Denver and Philadelphia coins were intended for everyday use, so finding one from these mints in pristine, uncirculated condition is a rare and valuable feat. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1990 Jefferson nickel is the variety of minting errors and unusual variations that can occur. Errors happen when the coin-making machines malfunction or when planchets, the blank metal discs that become coins, aren't prepared correctly. Some of the errors include double dies, where the design elements appear doubled or shadowed, off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't aligned properly, and missing mint marks, which are rare and highly sought after. For example, a 1990 Jefferson nickel with a double die obverse, where you can clearly see a doubling effect on Jefferson's portrait or the inscriptions, can dramatically boost the coin's value. Similarly, off-center strikes from this year are prized because they're unusual and visually distinct, making each one unique. Missing or misplaced mint marks are especially rare since the mint takes great care to mark every coin properly. Condition, or what collectors call the coin's grade, is crucial in determining value. Coins that show wear, scratches, or discoloration are generally less valuable. But coins that have been preserved carefully in mint state, untouched, shiny, and flawless, are the holy grail for collectors. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC assign grades that help buyers and sellers agree on the coin's worth. Over the years, the market for rare and error coins has exploded. More people are discovering the thrill of the hunt and the excitement of uncovering coins with hidden value. The 1990 Jefferson nickel is a prime example of a coin that looks ordinary but holds extraordinary worth if you know what to look for. So, what's the value of a 1990 Jefferson nickel with a mint mark? Well, typical circulated coins might only be worth a few cents or dollars. But if you're fortunate enough to have a coin in exceptional mint state condition or one with a rare error or variant, its value can skyrocket. In fact, the rarest 1990 Jefferson Nickels with specific mint marks, mint errors, or proof quality have been known to fetch an astonishing $179,000. Isn't it wild to think that a small nickel, so common in your pocket, could be worth such an incredible sum? This is why coin collecting is such a fascinating hobby, because treasures can be hidden in the most everyday places. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the 1990 Jefferson nickel. If you enjoyed this exploration and want to keep uncovering more rare coin stories and values, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an exciting video. Remember to check your change. Your next great treasure might just be a 1990 Jefferson nickel waiting to be discovered. Happy collecting, and until next time.